So let's talk about James Gunn's Superman. So I watched this movie yesterday and day before. I've watched it twice. And my first watch of it, I felt there was an issue with the pacing. The first half felt very all up and all up and down the gaff. Um, but again, that's just me personally. I'm sure other people didn't have any problem with it. But for me, that was an issue that I had. Everything felt like it was very rushed over several periods, like a massive time period. Everything just happened so quickly. The second half just became an absolute slobber knocker, and then that was that. My initial thoughts were, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. Those are my initial thoughts. Then I went again yesterday with my friends, of which we have five of us. Two of us are big DC fans. The rest of them don't particularly care. They're like, huh, fun movie, Superman. They know Superman. So we sat and I watched it again. And as I watched it, I started to, started thinking a little deeper about at least the stuff that I know. And that is from me watching the animated cartoons, from me reading some of the comic books, not all of them. I'm not a big comic book fan, mainly because they're expensive and I have no space to put them. I mean, I do now, but back when I started, I didn't really have space. Plus, my parents wouldn't buy it for me. Nowadays, I've moved on to audio stuff and online reading, so unfortunately, comic books kind of become a pain in the ass to read. No offense to comic creators, I'm just one of those people. But I love your art and I love the way you guys work. Anyway, all that to say, let's talk about Superman. So, two viewings, so I think I have a decent handle on everything, at least from what the movie shows us. So let's start off with Corn Sweat. He is very good. He is a great Superman. So what James Gunn has done has created the most Boy Scout Superman there is. Like, he is polite. He never swears. He's like, gosh, good job, golly, gosh darn. I'm such a jerk sometimes. Like, just very well-spoken and kind. And that is the most generic Batman's names, most generic Superman there is. And there's, Jesus Christ, girl. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's always nice to see someone else take a different version of Supes and do it their way. Again, perfectly fine. And James Gunn is allowed to do that. Lois was good, which was actually kind of nice because Lois is supposed to be the foil to Superman's like positive attitude. She's supposed to be the foil of that to bring him and keep him grounded, which was what she did, and she did a good job of that. And the first half of the movie, you get to see Clark and Lois's like chemistry and how it worked together, and how she could very easily get under his skin. And you can see Superman trying very hard not to lose it, as was told not to lose it. Who else? Lex. Oh my God, Holt did I think you pronounce it Holt, but he did a fantastic job as Lex. The petty, convoluted plan, doing whatever he can to screw up Superman. Like, that is the Lex we all know and love from the comic books, the cartoons, and honestly, out of all the movies of Superman that I've seen, he is the best Lex. Like, it's very clear that he is going out of his way to make Superman's life miserable. And he does a good job of doing it. And this whole movie, the whole premise of this movie, okay, quick thing. Spoiler alert from here on out. The whole premise for Lex doing what he's doing to Supes is because he is in league with the dictator of Boravia. And he's been promised half the country of Jarhanpur, I believe it's called. Again, made up places for the sake of the DC universe. So Lex was promised half of that country for him to do with as he pleases. That was the idea. So it was, again, it's very Lex. Excuse me. It's a very Lex Luthor thing to do. Rest of the characters. Let's start with Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Where's Jon Stewart? Where's Hal Jordan? We don't know. But there's Guy, played by my captain, Nathan Fillion. Can you guys give me a second? Get out. Sorry about that. But yeah, played by my captain, Nathan Fillion. As per usual, he does a fantastic job. And he embodies that asshole that is Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is a fan favorite Green Lantern because he's such a separation from Hal and John. Those two are do-gooders. But Guy Gardner he plays dirty, which oftentimes makes him actually more valuable than Stewart or Hal. But again, that's perspective. So he's great. Hawk Girl. Now, they never explicitly call her Shaira, so we don't know if it's the same. But Hawk Girl, I don't understand why they made her scream like a hawk when she attacks. It was very strange to see that happen. I was not a big fan of it. I mean, forget the fact that she's wearing like a hawk mask and she has fucking wings. Why does she have to scream like a hawk? I don't understand it. And even then, her role was quite minimal. I felt like it was lacking something. Now, here's a character I can't speak too much on because I'm not very familiar with Mr. Terrific. I know that he is a genius level intellect, and he is the one person you can count on being rational. If Batman is not there for rationality, Mr. Terrific is there. I don't remember. Oh, fuck, what was it? It was some animated, was it the Injustice series? Or something like that, where Superman sits with Terrific and they start discussing the ramifications should that Superman go and become the ruler of the world. Or destroy guns, or whatever it is. Destroy all these things. What would that mean for the world? And Terrific is able to break it down for him. Again, there's a small clip. It's very easy to find online somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. But that's the kind of person I expected Terrific to be. This one felt a little bit more sarcastic. Funny guy. Like, again, I can't take a dude sitting like that in the middle of the air seriously. I figured he'd be standing with a little bit more power or something like that. Maybe like that or something. But again, I can't speak on it too much because Mr. Terrific is a character I am not very familiar with. Is he a bad character? No. But he's not what I expected him to be, so I guess that's my fault. Ultraman. Oof. Okay. So Ultraman is actually a alternate universe Superman where he is part of the crime syndicate, which is basically a direct mirror, evil mirror of the Justice League. The only difference being is they don't have I think the death of Flash is or something like that, whatever it was. But they are a crime syndicate. They run the world with an iron fist. They kill, they destroy everybody. And Ultraman was, quote unquote, the leader of that pack. So you had Ultraman, Owlman. I can't remember who the others are because those are the only two that actually kind of stick out to me. And then, of course, the Wonder Woman proxy, played by Gina Torres. Fantastic performance, by the way. But I can't remember what her name is. Was it War Woman? I can't remember. But yeah. So that was the Ultraman I was expecting, right? An alternate universe because they show that Lex Luthor messes with portals. So I figured he just yoinked this Ultraman out of a very different, universe to come and cause issues and be the proxy. Spoiler alert again. it's just a clone of Superman, which I think is really meh. Like I would have preferred. Okay, so continuing spoilers. In this, there's a scene where it's finally revealed that Ultraman is in fact a clone of Clark, right? And Lex says, you know, like the cloning process as it is currently is still imperfect. And he says, this guy is even stupider than you. Which is why when you watch the movie, you see him constantly calling out numbers. It's like 9A, 9B, 98K. These are all things that he has to tell Ultraman to do. Because without instructions, Ultraman is too dumb to fight. Now, what I would have honestly preferred is if it was Bizarro. Bizarro Superman is a fantastic character. He is a failed clone of Superman. And everything is ass backwards for him. And he is not the smartest, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, which would then make him very easily influenced by someone like Luthor. So I really thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity there. So instead of making it like a clone who's just dumb, it should have just been Bizarro. Maybe it is Bizarro, and he's calling him Ultraman for the sake of branding. So again, it's like references to the DC universe. Okay. Engineer Angela, as she's called. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the character. In the sense that, like, if you ever watch Superman the animated series, or Batman the animated series, or Justice League, or whatever it is, Luthor always has this blonde woman wearing a hat, sunglasses on, always with him. And she can, in fact, morph her body into weapons. Like, she is an android, essentially, who I think was supposed to be the engineer. So it's his bodyguard. She's there at all times with him. She's his chauffeur, his bodyguard, his secretary, everything, right? But when she's just reduced to just a part of his plan, it felt a little weird, right? All this to say, what universe is this? Which Earth is this, right? Because we already know that the multiverse exists. Duh. But no Hal and no Stewart, and no reference to them either. No reference to Batman, no references to the Martian Manhunter, no references to Aquaman or Wonder Woman, nothing. Absolutely fuck all. They are still constructing Justice Hall. And the only people in there right now are Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner. So which Earth is this? Or the Hall of Justice, whatever. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah. Which Earth is this? Because Kara is here as well. Kara Zor-El shows up at the end of the movie as a drunk teenager who went to a planet with a red sun so she could get absolutely fucking hammered. And she came back to pick up Crypto. And Crypto is her dog. I don't know if that's what it is in the comic books, but I will not speak on that because I don't know. But it was nice to see Supergirl. It was. But taking on that role of a drunken teenager doing her own thing seems a bit... Meh. But then again, she's Supergirl. Who the fuck is going to stop her? So it makes sense. Crypto, I thought would have a bigger role than just comedy relief, so to speak. Like he got a couple of shots in. There are moments where Crypto has come in clutch, sure. But he's often used in a comedic sense. And it just felt like fan service, which is, again, perfectly fine. But I'm trying to be objective here. But yeah. It's just Metamorpho. Fuck, I completely forgot my Metamorpho. He's in this. And he becomes a hero and it's become pretty cool. He has some cool scenes. I like it. He can create any element he wants. He's that intelligent and then be able to morph his body into whatever it needs to have. Of course, you got little baby Joey. All that stuff is good stuff. But yeah, all in all, I'm not crazy. Okay, so if I have to give this movie a rating out of 10, I suppose, I'll say 7. I did not hate it. I enjoyed both times I watched it. I had a good chuckle here and there. I was engaged. At no point was I going, ugh. I was watching the entire time, and I was enjoying what I was watching. Like again, he's taken what he has learned from Guardians of the Galaxy and has brought it here. There are a lot of moments of comedy, a lot of light-hearted moments where it's fun. Um, and if you've noticed from the trailer that's playing right now, it's colorful. Like even the Brandon Routh movie, which happened God knows how long ago, it still had a very dimmed tone to it, right? But this one is colorful. Superman pops, and look at the world itself. It's very colorful, and it's kind of nice. More reveals that they did. Again, there's Rick Flag Jr. Sorry, Senior, who runs the what's called General Flag in this one. So again, I'm not 100% sure if the Suicide Squad exists in this world or anything. Like again, which universe is this? Which multiverse? Which Earth are we on? Raises all these questions, right? So it was a fun movie, and of course, like I mentioned, Superman is a Boy Scout saving kids. In fact, there's even one scene where he saves a squirrel. Squirrel's about to get squished. He picks it up and puts it down and flies back to the fight. Now the fight is happening between, like it's the Justice Gang, as they're called, which is Terrific, Lantern, and Hawkgirl. They're fighting this giant monster who I can't remember. I know what its name is, but I can't. It's not coming to. It's tip of my tongue, but I can't say. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. But they're fighting it while he is doing damage control, which is kind of cool. Like I remember at one point, I think it'll show up in the trailer here somewhere. Maybe. He just clocks it, right? He's an uppercut and goes stumbling back. In the movie, he actually goes around behind it to stop it from crashing into a building. So again, he is being responsible. He is the premier Boy Scout, which is, again, a very different take on Superman in the recent times. It was a good change. But the pacing, I felt, was a problem. Everything was either too fast, everything was way too fast. Too many things were happening way too quickly. And no one got a moment or a second to breathe. Yeah, this is that moment. That hit just bouncing backwards, Superman catches it from behind. So, Jimmy Olsen. Holy shit, when did Jimmy Olsen become a fucking stud? Is there some story I missed where Jimmy Olsen suddenly becomes like, whoa, just every girl wants him? Except Lois, of course. But every other girl is just like, damn. We saw Cat Grant, we saw Perry Mason, we saw all the people of Daily Planet, all the people you know and love, and all the stuff was there. So it's kind of cool that they put all these things in. But it felt more like sprinkling in stuff as opposed to having a true purpose. But otherwise, I mean, it's a fine movie. It is not worth watching in 3D. It most definitely is not. It was not. You can see the way it's shot. It doesn't lend to 3D. It doesn't. Just watch it regularly. Just pick up like a I don't know, Netflix or wherever it's going to show up and watch it there. Don't watch it in theater. Watch it in a theater that doesn't have it in 3D because the 3D does not serve the movie. It just feels like a tacked on thing. Yeah, should you watch the movie? Yes. But I will say that this movie is more catered towards DC fans than it is for the casual audience. If you're a DC fan, there's tons of stuff for you to look and absorb and go, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. But what I feel is it's not coming together well enough for me to give this a good rating, personally. But anyway, that is my take on Superman 2025. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Leave your thoughts, comments, disagreements all down below. If you like what you see, hit that like button. And if you want to see more stuff like this, hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys all next time. So from me to you guys, till then, peace out.